Good morning, guys. Reporting live from the secret place. I needed to come and share this. I wanted to come and share this powerful revelation. I've been on a journey to increase in my prayer life and ultimately be closer to God, right? And it hasn't been the easiest journey for several reasons. Um, but one thing that God has shown me today, and I was like, man, this is so powerful. I have to share. So he had me reading Psalms 91. And if you don't know what Psalms 91 is, I encourage you to go read it, especially if you're an intercessor and especially if you want to go deeper in your prayer life. I feel like Psalms 91 teaches you all about authority in prayer and what takes place. It has a lot in it. So the first verse, it says, he who dwells, hold on, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So I've been meditating on that, praying that God make me a secret place so that I can abide under his shadow. And while I was praying and spending time with God, like if you have spent time in prayer, you know that there's kind of like a threshold you can hit where you know that you are in the presence of God. Like it's a deeper, closer presence. And so I felt that. And but I kept falling asleep. I kept going in and out of sleep. And so I was like, man, I keep falling asleep. And in my mind, for one, I feel like I've been taught and adopted the mindset that if I go to sleep while I'm praying, that is wrong. It is a distraction from the enemy. And the Lord was like, okay, Psalms 91 literally says, you are my shield and my rampart. If I dwell in the secret place of the Most High, I shall abide under his shadow. So if I'm abiding in Christ in the secret place, I'm literally in the presence of God. The devil cannot come in there. Now, he can definitely not influence, he can try to infiltrate it. He could try to attack you through different ways. Maybe a distraction, but I would even go to say the deeper you go into the presence of God, you can hit it should be, I feel like there's a threshold point where nothing can touch you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a point where the enemy cannot come in because you are so close to God, um in prayer, in his presence. And so the Lord just showing me like that is why you want to become prayer. Really, you want to become a secret place, because the more shallow the waters is, the more shallow you stay in prayer, the more easy it is to access you, the more easy it is to throw things at you, the more easy it is to distract you and influence you. The enemy always wants to distract you from prayer, but once you enter into that place and enter into that level with God, it's very, very, very hard to infiltrate that. And I was like, wow. And he showed it to me through the story of John in chapter 13. John, the disciple who rested on Jesus' chest. And God was showing me like you were sleeping because you in and out of sleep, like you resting in me, you resting on my bosom. Like John, that's what John did. He was just laying on Jesus' chest, enjoying the presence of God. And even a more practical way to understand that, my dog, Cookie, is here. And she likes to come and lay on my chest. And like that, like a baby, when they want to lay on their mother's chest, they're not always coming intending to go to sleep, but it can be inevitable sometimes because that's a place of comfort and safety. And so the Lord just encouraging my heart this morning. It's like, hey, don't think that that's a bad thing. You're just resting in my presence, like John did. And the stark difference in that scripture about John was resting on Jesus' chest, and then Peter came up and was like, "Hey, Jesus, who did you say that was gonna betray you?" Because they had talked about it, but they didn't know who. And Jesus was like, "The one I give this sop to is the one that's gonna betray me." And he dipped it in something and he gave it to Judas. And it said at that moment, that's when Satan entered Judas, and that was confirmation of what he was saying. Like, Judas was not close to Christ in heart and in mind. He wasn't close to him, so he was easier infiltrated by Satan. Satan entered in his thoughts and minds, versus John, who was laying on his chest, which represented intimacy, and not only intimacy but a deep intimacy. So that's super, super powerful, and I hope that can give you some understanding and revelation. And I encourage you to deepen your prayer life. Literally, I wrote down, make me a secret place and help me to submit and endure the process of that, in order that I may pray without ceasing and abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That is what I prayed. And so I encourage you to pray the same thing. And I encourage you to escape them shallow waters of prayer, because it's safer on the deep side. All right, guys. And you have the authority if something to come against you in the deep side. All right, guys.